Hi everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ungrownups video transmission. I'm your host Mark, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Mattel Masters of the Universe Classics Galactic Protectors He-Man. This is going to be what we call the New Adventures He-Man. This is the way he looked in the New Adventures line when sort of He-Man and Skeletor go into space. This was a short-lived cartoon, offshoot of the original Masters of the Universe Classics TV show, and there is a fondness in my heart for this version of He-Man. So when I saw him, I just knew that this was going to be a guy that I was going to take advantage of, get my hands on. And when I saw this guy announced, I just knew that he was going to be somebody that I was going to definitely have to add to my collection. I always loved the neon green weaponry. I always thought he was really cool. He's got a ponytail going on in there. He actually does come with the armor and an additional head, so we'll see that once we get him open. Here's the back of the package. You can see some more of the New Adventures of He-Man figures that have been released: Optic, Slushhead, and Icarius. I know that some more have been announced. So if you guys want to read the bio, please pause the video and check that out. And because I'm not going to take this time to do it here, it's too much. But I'm just really, really happy to get this guy added to my collection. He is one of the few remaining He-Man figures that I will be picking up. Clamp Champ's another one we're going to be looking at in another video. And then past that, I'm really excited about Too Bad, who was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. Past that, I think my collection's about done. I think I'm about finished with this line. So let's get this guy opened up and take a closer look. Okay, so here we have the New Adventures of He-Man figure opened up out of the package, and you can see pretty much everything he comes with. He comes with this very minimalist shoulder strap here. He has his full set of armor, both of which come with a place to hold the power sword. He does come with his bright neon green shield. It clips right on the arm, and he does come with a helmeted head. That is, I guess the helmet would be so form-fitting that it would just be too loose or weird-looking to include just the helmet itself, so they went ahead and sculpted the head inside. I think that's fantastic. I really like that. And you can see he also does come with that very nostalgic bright green and gold power sword. And this head sculpt has a ponytail on it, as you can see. So you do have two complete looks here. You can have the ponytail and the bandolier. You can have just with the shoulder strap. You could have the full set of armor and the helmet. There's so many looks you can go with and so many things you can mix and match. I'm really, really, really happy with this figure. I'm so glad that Mattel went ahead and got us this particular version of He-Man before the Classics line actually ends. So why don't we swap out the head and swap out the armor and show you his other look. Okay, so here we have the full armor on and the helmet. We've swapped everything out. You can see now how the shield fits on his arm. And as you can see, spinning it around, you do have a straight up and down vertical sheath for this power sword, which is a very nice inclusion. I really like that. I will say that while the upper armor is easy to put on, you just pop the head off, slide it over the top of the neck. I will say that getting these tabs in here just right is quite fidgety, because they have both an upper and a lower tab, plus the big oval tab in the middle. So there's like three things you have to get right on each side, and I mean, you could sit there for 10 minutes fidgeting with that thing. So it does go on pretty easy, but to tab it in there and get it in really secure, I find takes a lot of patience, a lot of fidgeting, and fingernails. You gotta have fingernails. I love the very, I don't know, it always reminded me of RoboCop, but the very RoboCop-ish circle on the back of the helmet. We'll look at that when we zoom in to the head sculpts here in just a second. I do want to point out, I'm not going to go through all the articulation points because this is, basically your standard Masters of the Universe Classics figure. If you guys have those, how they're articulated. But I will say that this figure has 2 points of articulation that most Masters of the Universe Classics figures do not. One is on this hand. It actually turns in like that. There's actually a joint that allows the hand to actually bend in, which is really, really nice. The other added articulation point is right here at the wrist, and instead of going in and out, this hand goes up and down. So you're actually able to get a pointing gesture out of the sword. You can have him point it straight down. You can actually have him pointing it straight up, which I'm sure will be out of frame, so I apologize for that. But he can actually hold this power sword aloft, just like he does in the classic show. So that's pretty cool, and I'm really glad that Matty's added, or the Four Horsemen rather, have added that articulation point. You know, I almost want to, you know, pop these wrists off or these hands off and put them on like the classic He-Man. I don't even know if you could do that, but I sure would like to try. So why don't we zoom in here, take a closer look at the armor and the head sculpts on these two fantastic heads. Okay, zooming in here on the head, this is of course the helmeted version. You can see that they went with actually sculpting the head sculpt inside the head as opposed to a slide-on helmet, which never fits properly, never looks really good. So I'm really glad that the Horsemen went that way as opposed to just the single helmet, which would have been a cheaper, you know, less tooled, better budgeted version for them to do. Glad they didn't. You know, again, the RoboCop-esque-ness of the back of this helmet I've always loved. I don't know what this big circular devices on the back of the helmet, you know, I don't know if this is where they get plugged into the Matrix or not, but whatever it is, looks really, really cool, looks really fantastic. Glad they went that route. And unlike some of the earlier Masters of the Universe Classics figures, the heads come off pretty easily. So swapping them is a much easier task than the first series, which always felt like you were going to break the figure when doing so. So the secondary head is more of the more cavalier. This is the ponytailed version of the head, which is really cool, which we never got with the first figure that came out in the 80s. The original New Adventures of He-Man figure, of course, didn't have the ponytail. He just had the very short cropped hair in the back, of course, to allow for the helmet to go on. So pretty fantastic. It's a nice looking head sculpt. It, you know, retains enough of the original He-Man look in there. You can still definitely see He-Man in that face sculpt. So looks really good. I'm glad they included two different heads. So why don't we zoom back out and just take some final thoughts about this overall figure. All right, zooming back out here, this New Adventures of He-Man action figure is stellar. I'm so incredibly happy that Matty decided to include it. Even if they did include it late in the game, I'm glad we got it because at this point we've gotten 4 of the bad guys already. So I'm glad that they finally give us He-Man. I wonder if we'll ever get Skeletor. I wonder if that'll actually happen. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll just have to see how the subs go. I do really like this figure. I don't have that many versions of He-Man, just a few, and this is one that I was definitely wanting to add to my collection when I saw it last year, so I'm really, really glad that I finally got it in. So that's going to about do it for this review. As always, we're going to ask if you dug it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please join the conversation over at facebook.com/ungrownups, and be sure to check out our podcast, which is new every 3 weeks. You can download it straight from iTunes, or you can stream it right off of ungrownups.com. So until next time,